All right, we're going to transition to the next topic, right, for you guys right now.
I'm
going to tell you right now.
I needed this guy. I'm telling you guys, man, for the past, I'm so glad we got a producer back here. We got Beto back there working on the stuff. We got, the squad is working.
Chris, getting recently robbed at your game store, is it ever okay to steal?
Well, let me give an update on that, by the way. First off,
tell us about what happened. Yes. You got robbed. We did a YouTube short.
A little bit of backstory.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think it was last week, actually.
Okay.
Guy came in, walked through the front door. We have Pokemon binders up front, which have like dollar cards. They're not super expensive cards, but they probably have 200 to 300 cards in each one. Came in, grabbed 5 binders, walked out, ran out the door pretty much. I happened to be by the front window, saw him, chased him down, ended up getting the binders back. So that was my hero of the day.
How come you skipped that part in the middle of chasing him down and then you walked?
There wasn't a huge physical altercation.
Altercation.
Thank you.
I wouldn't press you. You're too chiseled.
Yeah. But before you go on, I want to know what I'm so happy that your response was to go get them, right? And I know that I'm not telling everyone to do that. Someone could have a gun. I don't know. But I guess I'm old fashioned that way, where that's my mentality is, I'm going. It's my stuff, bro.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about it. Yeah, it was just innate. I just ran out, went back, got my stuff because maybe that's the way I was raised or whatever. It's like, don't take from me.
Yeah.
But no physical big altercation or anything like that. Got the items back. The guy bolted off. Didn't call the cops or anything. Well, update to that story today. Guess what happened? That guy came back today.
What?
Went back in today. Walked in, grabbed, we have loose, I moved the binders into a showcase. He came in, grabbed, we have loose cards. There's like a sleeve, probably like 1,000 cards in each one, Pokemon cards. Walked right in, grabbed 2 and ran out. My guy Eric saw him, so now he called the police.
Wow.
Yeah, had the balls to do that again today.
Little does he know we have a YouTube short out there that's gaining some traction.
If anybody knows him or sees him.
I love it because most of the comments are like, man, why would you mess with Chris's man bun? And
underneath that guy, he's got a beautiful man bun.
I got a lot of heat for that, even in the video, for my employees and stuff.
For the man bun? Hey, bro, you can't mess with the man bun, bro. Anyway, most people who have a man bun are strong. That's just what I've gotten from it.
I saw a video recently, Brock Lesnar's got a man bun. You want to go mess with somebody, go mess with Brock Lesnar with a man bun. Conor McGregor had a man bun.
I saw clips of Brock Lesnar one time holding a punching bag straight out in front of him, like holding it out, no elbows bending, and flipping it with his hands. Schwink, catch. Schwink, catch. I was like, I can't even do that with like a heavy water bottle.
What a beast.
It's
incredible.
This is insane. So I think what Curtis was asking earlier, which I think is, maybe this is a different type of topic, but it kind of, when I heard that, I had someone say, well, maybe and I'm like, no, that's not justified. But it did bring up the thought to me of like, you've seen in Robin Hood movies and stuff. And do you feel like in your brain, like it's ever justified to steal something? I mean, there's food, where's your brain at?
I mean, it's a case-by-case basis. Obviously, over the years, 12 years, we have collectibles, expensive stuff. People come in, they steal. I get it. We deal with like all different types of people. There's a lot of people in bad spots. Yep. Some people are drug addicts. We get a lot of that that come in. I try to avoid at the very last scenario calling the police. I don't like doing it.
You're a little more forgiving.
Yeah, I'd like to just get the items back, say, hey, you just can't come in here anymore. And we've caught many people over the years stealing. This one where the guys come back twice, I've never had that happen, especially when he was like caught.
That's really dumb. I mean, we were just finding the VHS tapes last week, like world's dumbest criminals. That guy would have been a perfect candidate. Like, seriously? This guy's coming back to the crime scene. He must not know you have a video that you already posted and we posted a thing. He obviously isn't aware, which maybe is a good thing.
Now, do you have like the same amount of like problems like you have in the LA stores that you have in the East Coast stores?
We've had issues on the East Coast.
How many stores do you own?
5.
5?
Yeah. In those stores,
flex all day, bro. Physically, his clothes, his stores.
The stores in Connecticut, they've had issues. Yeah, it's just an issue. Most of it's usually drugs and stuff like that. This guy didn't necessarily look like he was on drugs.
You've ever been held up?
No, and I was gonna say, like, the one thing, like, at the end of the day, it's just stuff. And so I know that stuff goes missing all the time. And honestly, I just kind of account like, all right, stuff gets taken. Yeah. It is what it is. You know, I can't sit there and watch cameras all day long.
Yeah.
Some store owners I've seen are a little bit more, they're like there to protect every little thing. I don't like it, but I just expect it stuff is getting taken.
If one of your employees chased after someone, how would you have felt?
I've been like, I've always told them. Well, what I'm most worried about, in all honesty, is like their safety, them getting more than anything. Yeah. And to answer your question, no, I have never been held up. There have been other game stores in Connecticut that have actually, and that's a really scary situation. Like, it was bad, the one that happened in Connecticut. Like, it was like an armed kind of robbery.
Wow.
So that, thank God, has never happened to me. I hope it never does. Yeah. Of course, knock on wood.
Yeah.
And my employees, like, even this kind of stuff probably scares them a little bit.
For sure. Like, shakes you up.
Yeah, it shakes them up. We have females that work for us and other, it's just not something that they want to deal with. Got it. Here I am, police coming into the store today dealing with this. So I just like the guy to stay out of the store. Just don't come back. Got it. So
when I worked for a grocery store one time, I was probably, when did I work at Sprouts, Ricky?
Dude, that was like 15 years ago.
When I was in diapers.
Ricky had his baby in diapers. I remember Ricky would show up when he was first married with his kid, and he'd show up with Gabe in his little like diaper. Ricky was wearing what are those things called that you wear?
Dude,
Ergo something. What do the guys wear?
The bungalows.
The bungaloo? I don't know. But yeah, I worked at a grocery store, and I remember one time I was friends with the janitor. His name is Luis, and he was like an older Mexican dude. Super cool dude. He was one of my best buddies there. I was, probably maybe early 20s at most, and he was probably like late 60s. And I remember being there, and I heard like a noise, and I was like, "What is that?" And I go out there, and there's this guy robbing the place, and I was like, "Well, it's Sprouts, like whatever, he'll just leave." And someone's like, "Dude, he just threw a tequila bottle at Luis's head," and I'm like, "Wait, someone just hit Luis?" And I was like in a weird state. And the guy started like bolting out the door, and I'm a runner, and I see this one guy chase him, then another guy chase him, and I'm all the way at the back of the store, and he's all the way out to the front, and like 3 or 4 people are chasing this guy, and I was like, I don't want to chase him, I'm all the way at the back of the store, but then I see Luis, and he's like, he's all hurt, got a little blood coming down, and I'm like, oh heck no. So I start chasing after the guy, I start going, being a runner, I just see people start dropping, like people like, too tired. And I'm just like, for my boy Luis, I'm going full speed, bro. And I go, Ricky knows the location from there. I walk all the way out the store in Costa Mesa to the Camden Apartments, which is maybe like a mile away. So I'm like a mile deep, maybe a mile and a half running. Again, this is flex hour. I run like six miles a day. It's kind of my thing. Yeah. So I got to him, and I remember I dove to him, and my finger went in his belt loop. And I was like, wow, like, what a shot, Kobe, I went for it, got his belt loop, pulled him on the ground. And I was so mad. I think for some reason, something like went in me. And I know it's probably not the best thing for employees to do, but I was just so mad that he hurt my friend, my buddy, Luis. He's an old guy, and I just like held him down. I was, maybe a little rough house here and there.
Get away with that.
Well, that's the thing. So it was a different time though back then too. But when the police showed up, and I remember my boss, Duke, he shows up and he just looks at me. He's like, good job. And he just looks at me and goes, what the hell are you thinking? Under his breath. And he's like, you're gonna get fired, dude. Well, he's like smiling under his breath. But thankfully, when the police showed up, they were like, all right, man, it's all good. And I just kind of, what's your name, son? And I was like, Bob. And just kept walking, But it was just one of those situations where, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird situation to be in. So that's why when I saw you kind of like, fight or flight or whatever they say, and you were just like man bun bouncing around all the way, I was like, go Chris.
Well, so I had an option to physically like actually grab that guy. I got the binders back. Basically what I did is I hit the binders out of his arms, and they spilled all over the place. I grabbed them, he bolted. But I could have tackled him, I could have restrained him, I could have done all those things. Yeah. Now in hindsight, knowing that the guy was going to come back again, I'm like, I should have done that.
Yeah,
I had no idea that this guy was, and he's obviously going to come back again.
We're not proposing violence, anybody.
No,
but you do.
But me as the store owner, I can do that. I would never ask my employees to do that. But I kind of wish that I had done something, because
you're mad now.
Well, I'm just kind of like, really? Yeah. Like, come on. Like thinking like, okay, I got the binders back, scared the guy off, never going to see him again. Literally less than a week. This isn't months later. This isn't like 6 months later. Like the next week, the guy is back. And I'm like, what? So which means he's probably going to be back in the next couple of days. He's going to continue to just walk in, grab stuff, bolt out the door. And I've never had to deal with that. Usually people are trying to they're pretty sneaky about it. They're trying to stuff down their pants.
He's going for the big boys.
He's just running in, grabbing stuff, and going out. And I'm like, what the heck?
Dude,
so
now I'm bummed out now that I know the story, because in my head, like after watching that video, I just pictured you clotheslining the guy.
I shouldn't have told. Yeah,
I
I
was
should
like,
have just
oh,
left
no,
it
no,
just
no, that's
open ended as to what happened.
We all imagine like Chris running and his like shirt flew off and it's just like 6-pack and the guy's like, oh no. Chris tackles him, man bun in the air, and he's like,
I still think that.
gotta
Don't
catch
worry.
them all,
Yeah.
buddy.
We'll just edit that other part out.
My hopes and dreams.